You take this case, and you take him for every penny he's got.
I trained my entire life for this.
You're not ready to get up in front of the class until the ring says you are.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We have our first official Lanterns footage, so we'll break it all down. It's the Green Lantern HBO series. It's going to be premiering next year after the Supergirl movie, so no coincidence that they dropped this right after they dropped the big Supergirl trailer. I've already done a video for that, so I'll link it at the end of this. I think we are all expecting some sort of Green Lantern-related stuff during the Supergirl movie just to help tee up the Lantern series because it is releasing right after the Supergirl movie. They already gave us a taste of the Green Lantern Corps during the Superman movie with Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner. Now we're going to be getting the full deep dive in the Lantern series. So of course I'll be doing episode videos for this week to week when it does premiere next year. Be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. And yes, James Gunn did confirm that Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner will show up on this Lantern series, so we'll probably get a scene of him with Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Hal Jordan also probably cannot stand him the way that you would expect. As you can see from the vibe of the footage, it is meant to be more of a serious, true detective, Green Lantern type series set on Earth, compared to a lot of the irreverent humor that you saw during the Supergirl trailer and all the jokes. Like, this Green Lantern series seems as serious as cancer. If you saw True Detective Season 1, or really any of the seasons, they're all meant to be pretty serious, but Season 1 is really like the banger season, then imagine that, but with Green Lanterns. The synopsis for the series reads that Hal Jordan and John Stewart are paired up, and he is the mentor to John Stewart, who has just gotten the ring like it's brand new. As you see in the footage, he's basically testing him to teach him how to use the ring. Do you know how to actually use this to save your life? Presumably, there'll either be a prologue at the beginning of episode 1, or there'll be some moment that will explain that John Stewart has already gotten the ring. The ring has already come to him. And the Owens, the Green Lantern Corps, have paired him up with Hal Jordan to teach him how to become a Green Lantern. Like, this is brand new first days for John Stewart. First day on the job. The synopsis reads that they've come to a small Nebraska town in the DCU, obviously, to investigate a mysterious murder that has wider ramifications and connections to the entire DCU going forward, and it sounds like a high-profile character was killed, leading them to darker mysteries and reckonings. So I think the reckonings that the synopsis refers to sounds like Sinestro and Hal Jordan's past, because when this picks up, it's meant to be an older Hal Jordan, so he's already had his falling out with Sinestro. Sinestro has quit the Green Lantern Corps, but it sounds like Sinestro hasn't created the Sinestro Corps yet. My assumption, though, is that he does have his Yellow Lantern ring already. He just hasn't created the Sinestro Corps yet. As you see them step into this town hall meeting, where it seems like the entire town is listening to the sheriff here in this local town about what's just happened, you see John Stewart walking past what looks like all the bodies, like this is the actual crime scene here that they're investigating, saying that he's trained his whole life for this in a completely different scene, like they just put some voiceover from him in a different scene across this. What he's referring to is all of his time in the military. Hal Jordan and John Stewart then pushing through what looks like the coroner's office here, investigating the actual dead bodies. Then Hal Jordan basically gives John Stewart one of his early tests here. It seems like they're driving a Buick Grand National from the 90s, classic muscle car. I believe this is Hal Jordan's car because it has California plates on it and he's from Coast City. When he says you're not ready to get up in front of the class, he's talking about the rest of the Green Lantern Corps in general, because John Stewart has just started learning about the Green Lantern Corps in general. And tells him you're ready when the ring says you're ready, then takes his Green Lantern ring, this is Hal Jordan's ring, and puts it on the dashboard and bails out of the car. So the whole idea is he's trying to force John Stewart to find a way to save himself using his own Green Lantern ring, or he's going to die. Maybe Hal Jordan is also hoping that John Stewart, when he saves himself, can also save his car, like he'll just bubble the car so the car itself doesn't crumple on impact here. Like, it's a good car, see if you could save the car too. Then there's another scene of John Stewart running down the freeway, just a completely different scene disconnected from this. Making another callback to Ryan Reynolds' Hal Jordan, this is what his Green Lantern ring looked like compared to Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan's ring. If it wasn't clear, all the different members of the Green Lantern Corps have different kinds of Green Lantern rings. They're all meant to look very different. It's not like the battery on Oa creates 1,000 copies of the exact same ring. When you zoom in and enhance on it, notice the battle damage on the ring, how many big battles it's been through. It's meant to echo with his whole character vibe just in general. Like, he's an older Green Lantern, he's seen a lot of crap across his years in the Corps. But at least at this point, as far as James Gunn has talked about, they have not done War of Light yet. We haven't had Blackest Night or like a lot of the really big seminal Green Lantern events. And they have not done Parallax Hal Jordan yet. We will see if they ever actually work up to that too, because he was also an older Hal Jordan when that happened in the comics.
I hope you enjoy it. Roll the footage.
Based on the footage, the series is described as a Western-toned series set in rural America with Hal Jordan training John Stewart as a substitute teacher of sorts, like he didn't plan on being his mentor, teaching him how to use the actual ring. Both of them are meant to clash, like their personalities will clash, with John Stewart claiming that he's better at saving people than Hal Jordan. John Stewart's constructs are based more on his background as an architect, so the constructs tend to be more complex, and Hal Jordan is described as just wanting to punch every problem that comes along, like really, really angry in his older age. So it sounds like his constructs will be simpler, more like Guy Gardner's that we saw, who was manifesting the giant hand, making the middle finger to the Baravian troops in the Superman movie when he was taking them all down. One of the versions of the trailer they showed off didn't have them in their suits. Another one reportedly did have them in some Green Lantern suits. Like, you did actually see some of their suits. And reportedly, they are supposed to look like the Earth 1 Green Lantern suits. So take that as you will. This is somebody describing what they actually look like. So I don't know how accurate that actually is. But I do think this confirms that they're not meant to be just like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern suits. They're not green, they're not animated, so they're fulfilling the promise of that Deadpool joke in the first Deadpool movie. One of the other big moments in the trailer footage was Chip, the squirrel Green Lantern, was mentioned. He's actually Helvanite, the race that looks just like squirrels and beavers talking small animals, but they're not actual squirrels. He's a Green Lantern of Sector 1014. His main villain from that sector is Dex Star, who eventually becomes a Red Lantern, who was originally a house cat from Earth. So the joke is that the house cat is the enemy of a squirrel and chases him around everywhere. We will see how much of that kind of stuff we see during the series. My assumption is not that much, maybe like a very little bit. James Gunn went on at length about how it was meant to be a terrestrial series, as in it mostly takes place in Middle America on Earth.
Because the story, the thing that keeps getting out is it's a terrestrial story, you know? Yeah, because it's on Earth. The story takes place on Earth. Everybody's like, well, we don't want to see their outer space. They fly with rings. We don't want to see And I'm like, yeah, they're on Earth for the story, like most Green Lantern stories. It's terrestrial bound. Right. It's not in outer space, you know? I think grounded, just like, if Green Lanterns were real, what would they be and how would they be? We don't have 1,000 Green Lanterns, all that stuff. And it's like, it's a grounded story that's being told through another lens in a way that's really commensurate. It's an HBO series, and it's going to be an HBO series.
The director of the first 2 episodes said there are excitements to come. It won't disappoint the classic fans, so it does sound like there are a lot of deep-cut Green Lantern Easter eggs with the older comics. You get to meet the characters in a quite rooted way before it takes you intergalactic, so it does sound like we will go intergalactic during the actual series. Like, it won't completely be set on Earth. They will reference stuff that's happening out in outer space. It would be weird if you did a Green Lantern series and you never reference what's happening beyond Earth. When I talked to James Gunn, there were only a couple things that he actually said about the series. Most of our conversation was about the other stuff that they were working on, the other big movies. Chris Mundy, the Lantern showrunner with Damon Lindelof, is known for writing these prestige crime thrillers like Ozark, Bloodline, True Detective, says the series is as much of a buddy cop show as a superhero show, and like any good buddy cop show, Hal and John are opposing forces, like very different personalities that clash with each other. Then he said our show is in a lot of ways about replacement. When should someone step aside, and when is it time for the next person to take the reins? Basically, John Stewart eventually taking the reins. I think confirming the idea that John Stewart is meant to be the Green Lantern that will eventually be on the future Justice League once it forms out of the Justice Gang. We will probably get into that once we start getting episodes, just because it seems like they're using this series to set him up as a much, much bigger character in the DCU. Then he goes on to say that push and pull between those two characters, Hal and John, is really important. So much of the power that John has by not taking the bait, understanding that you lose power if you're yelling and screaming. This is what we're trying to convey. He knows that he belongs in the Green Lantern Corps, that is, so he doesn't have to overcompensate. There's a real balance there that's innately inside of Aaron, talking about Aaron Pierre, who plays John Stewart. He's big. He's an intimidating presence, just physically, but there's a softness to him, too, a thoughtfulness. You can't teach that. So he's just talking about Aaron Pierre being an amazing actor. If you've not seen any of his other stuff, he's fantastic. Also, he was supposed to be in one of the versions of Marvel's new Mahershala Ali Blade movie, then got taken out of the movie like he was cut from the movie when they completely changed that script 5 or 6 different times. As much as that does suck, it did create the opportunity for him to then be John Stewart of the DCU. So he would not be in the Green Lantern series Lanterns if he were in the Blade movie.
Already in the void. I'm not trying to get canceled again.
I don't like you.
You never did.
When it comes to the other Green Lanterns from Earth that we know canonically, like Kyle Rayner, I'm assuming that he has not gotten his Green Lantern ring yet, because this is meant to be the introduction of John Stewart getting his Green Lantern ring, so it's like a brand new thing. So we do see Kyle Rayner. I think that's in success in many years. Like, eventually we will see all of the classic Green Lanterns show up. DC is doing a new animated version of Kyle Rayner and Jessica Cruz on a show called My Adventures with Green Lantern, but that's not canon to the DCU, it's canon to My Adventures with Superman, which is meant to be Elseworlds off in its own continuity. Absolutely great TV show. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend checking out those episodes, but it's not meant to be connected to whatever James Gunn's doing with his TV shows and his movies in the DCU. Ulrich Thompson, who you probably remember from Banshee with Anthony Starr, who's Homelander on The Boys right now, is going to be their Sinestro, which reminded me that Anthony Starr would be the most amazing Reverse Flash inside the new James Gunn DCU. Please make him Reverse Flash, even though I don't think he's going to do that. There's a lot of stuff going on during this new trailer footage, so if there's any Easter eggs or references that you spotted that I didn't talk about during this or my previous videos, just write them below in the comments and I'll add them to my future bonus videos. There are a couple of Supergirl videos that I was working on when they released this. I wasn't expecting new Lanterns footage, so I might do a couple more Lanterns bonus videos too. HBO literally just decided to dump a bunch of different trailers, so I'm trying to do videos for everything. Make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Everybody click here for my Supergirl trailer video, and click here for all my other DC videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.